have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host this news.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome to the East-West Show, exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. A prominent life must be matched with the palace-grade jewelries. Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelries with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the master craftsman. A testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Wolfers, the palace-grade artistic jewelries. That starts our show. Today, our subject is talking about something we need to know, yet we do not know that much. That is the Kaiser Permanente and the hospital system around us and the healthcare system around us that not lots of people know. With me is my good friend, Mr. Dr. Chou, Dr. Jack Cho, Jack Cho. See, Jacks, we're all Jacks, right? So, Dr. Jack Cho of Kaiser Permanente, a family doctor. So, sir, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Jack.
Very good, very good. Of course, I know Kaiser Permanente. I drive by the building almost every day. And lots of people may heard the name, but they do not get a chance to know. There are, I believe, two reasons. Number one, people need time to know the mainstream society. Number two, there's the language barriers, right? So both probably function at the same time. But I would like to take today's opportunity to let our audience to know Kaiser Hospital, Kaiser Care, all together. Use this time. If one time is not enough, let's do more. The other day I shared my thought with Rena. I said, okay, I'm all open to options. We want to make it known, right? So why don't you start with your personal story? How did you become a doctor at Kaiser Permanente? I believe their threshold is very high.
Well, we hired the best.
You hired the best, right?
Yes. I trained with Kaiser Permanente back in 1996 when I became a family medicine resident.
I see.
I came out, I studied at USC, and I looked at a health system that I can bring to the, to bring best health care to my patients. And that's how I got into Kaiser Permanente. My backstory, I'm an immigrant from Taiwan, and I came not knowing a word of English. I came with my mother, and my mother was...
Came not knowing a word of English. When was that?
This was 1984.
1984.
It's been a while.
84, 35 years.
35 years.
That turned you into a doctor.
Yes.
Not only that, but a doctor of the outstanding.
Oh, thank you. I'm the current chief of medicine.
I know the threshold of Kaiser Permanente. Yes. They take nothing but the best. So
that's right.
No wonder. I mean, no question. You're the best. Right.
Thank you very much.
Well, right now we're doing a selection for the candidates for the what we call Wall of the American Dream Award. I will ask you for submission to prove it.
Thank you.
Something 35 years, a little boy of knowing nothing, not a word in English, to all the way within 35 years to realize the American dream to become a doctor, but not that, but one of the best doctors. Right?
Well, thank you.
Congratulations. I'll start that with a warm hand for it. How about that?
Well, it's been a dream for me to work within Kaiser Permanente for the last 22 years.
And Kaiser Permanente must have done a good job, right, in training you to where you are.
Absolutely. And we believe in integrated medicine. So what's different from Kaiser Permanente as other healthcare organizations, it's an integrated model. And what that means is, it's not just a health insurance, but the Kaiser Foundation Health Plan works with, it's a nonprofit organization, works with Kaiser Foundation hospitals. And as a part of the Southern California Permanente Medical Group physician, we contract with only Kaiser Permanente for their health members and to provide not just sick care, but preventive care.
That's critically important. Right. Lots of people know Kaiser Hospital, right? But they do not know the healthcare part, and they know even less about the nonprofit.
Yep.
So,
Yes.
Why don't you tell me something about the nonprofit, please?
Yeah. So the nonprofit part, because in the United States there are for-profit hospitals and not-for-profit hospitals. The not-for-profit hospitals, obviously, we do not go into healthcare for money. What we in 2017, the organization actually put back $2.3 billion in caring for its members, both through Medicaid, CHIPS program, also for medical financial assistance program.
Medicaid means those
Medi-Cal in California.
the Medi-Cal and the senior people who has the blue card and white card, are those
That's
the
a little
people?
different. Medicare, Kaiser Permanente has a Medicare Advantage plan. Medicaid is the Medi-Cal, the white card. Okay. And we provide services for underprivileged
I see.
populations as well.
Oh, that's quite a point. Quite a point we should know. Lots of people, especially the new immigrants,
Yes.
and the worst case is that they are new immigrants, they are elder. For example, if I immigrate my mother and father here, they are brand new, they know nothing about it, yet they're old. They need the care right away. So I believe if you happen to be those, I would recommend that you pay attention to what Dr. Chou and I discussed right now. It is so important, critically important to you, your family, your parents, right? Even yourself. Right. Good.
That's right. Healthcare is very important.
Yeah,
in the
I have
United
lots
States.
of questions that I collected from my audiences that knowingly that you and I will do this show, though, they have questions. How is Kaiser Permanente different than the other healthcare organizations?
So what we do as an integrated model, as opposed to other types of healthcare, in other healthcare organizations, you get an insurance. Then you have to find your own doctors, and then the doctors may order certain things such as x-rays or laboratory testing. Sometimes they do it in their office. Sometimes you have to go to another place.
Yes.
Kaiser Permanente is an integrated model, and what that means is when you purchase Kaiser Health Plan, then you go to the Kaiser hospitals and also its facilities, where it's going to be staffed by me and my colleagues in the medical group, and we will take care of everything under one roof.
One visit for all.
One visit. And so when I order certain things, you go to our radiology department. I get the results right away from my colleagues in radiology. So you don't have to go to different places, sometimes even across town.
Oh, that's really something I call it that has the core value, right? Take myself, for example. I'm a white collar working class, okay? White collar, but working class. I have my schedule so tight. For example, right now I have to be here. If it has a conflict with a doctor appointment, though, I have to stick to this, right? I have to ask my doctor to postpone. The worst case is that they send me elsewhere. For example, last time they scheduled me for a
Colonoscopy.
Yeah, whatsoever, right?
Right.
I really hate to have my rear end be checked by somebody. Especially, I hate the fact they send me here for A, there for B, that for C. With one butt problem, I have to go dung everywhere. I finally said, bye. I'm okay. I don't need it. Right, so that's the thing. My dear friends, today is one of the very, very rare chance. I'm so glad that I picked up the chance to talk to Dr. Jack Cho of Kaiser Permanente to understand the Kaiser system. I started to see the twilight already because I was applying my case into the situation, into the one-stop-for-all service kind of thing. I know that I like it already. We'll be right back. This show is exclusively sponsored by Wolfer's testimony to spectacular and a share of the royal family. We will be right back.
Everything is expected to be straight. It's like seeing John Wayne.
My
name
is Paul James. I host English News every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to the East West Show, exclusively sponsored by Wolfer's. A prominent life must be matched with the palace-grade jewelries. Wolfer's, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelries with 400 years of glorious history and a hand-forged type by 10 generations of master craftsmen, a testimony to the spectacular, a share of the royal glory. Wolfer's, the palace-grade artistic jewelries. Now continues show with my dear friend, Mr. Jack Cho, Dr. Cho to be precise, from Kaiser Permanente. I started to see some twilight by applying my situation. I hate to be sent elsewhere, especially when I have a tight schedule to follow, though, to go to A to C to B to D places for the same thing, for one simple purpose, right? So, and I give the microphone back to Dr. Cho to, in answering my question, probably my audience will get a better picture. So you're saying the kind of structure that Kaiser Hospital provides you and your colleague is kind of one stop for all.
And for busy white-collar workers.
I hate this term, but it's still a fact.
Absolutely. And we now, with our innovations, we offer telehealth services and convenient care services.
What is that?
All in one. So what telehealth, traditionally people think as FaceTiming your doctors. But what we do is we incorporate it into our electronic record system. So when you need a visit, and sometimes it's just very simple face-to-face or even a telephone visit, we can actually schedule that into your appointment slots. And many of my patients take advantage of that so that they don't have to miss work. They can take a break from work and have a quick call with their doctor. Another way of bringing health.
In other words, you're talking to your doctor.
Yes, absolutely, your doctor. You make an appointment with your doctor through through our video chat application or through a telephone visit, and we call you. I call you, I have your records in front of me in the computer system, and I can order testing, I can order labs, and I can order medications for you.
Let me explain why I started to like your system already. Last time I was referred to by my doctor to a diabetic doctor to double check a whatsoever. I don't know, right now. And on the note it says, bring all your medication, right now. What I did not know is that, do I need to physically bring the boxes, the tubes, whatsoever that contains the pill, the capsules, or do I bring a list of the medication that I'm taking? So I was there. Sarah, where is the medication? I said, I thought you might have it. My doctor will have it, right? And I said, okay, why don't you ask my doctor's office to send you a copy of what I'm taking? Which they started working, and I was there. For 3 hours, I said, is that back? Anything back? No. Is that back? Anything? For 3 hours until I wore out my patience, I said, can you please stand up, somebody stand up, go actually to the fax machine to check if there's any. Sure enough, 10 minutes after I requested, they came in already, and yet they don't know. I said, bye-bye, doctor. Very nice to see you. I never came back.
And in our system, it's completely integrated.
I was wasted.
I
was wasted 3 full hours for the simple thing to arrive, and nobody even bothered to stand up. Those beautiful nurses whatsoever, more than beautiful nurses, they speak perfect Mandarin, perfect Chinese, perfect Spanish, and nobody even bothers to do that. I want my audience to hear something that in Kaiser Permanente, they do not have to experience that hustles, rustles,
Nope.
even the humiliation.
No, well, we have an integrated health system, so that means that everywhere you go,
Integrated.
That means that for your endocrinologist specialist, they have the same view as my chart. And so we update the medical records all the time. And so even if I have patients, we're in Baldwin Park right now, but I have patients who lives in Mexico. They go to San Diego for services. They can actually do that. We also, because of our organization, we have 12.2 million patients all along the West Coast. I had a patient in Hawaii, and they needed the records. They can actually query the system and obtain the records right away.
I know Kaiser Permanente is big. I know Kaiser Hospital is big. The system I know is good, but I do not know the details. And I'm so happy today that you shine the points for the audiences, and I believe lots of them might feel the same way like I feel, right? And I like the integration part, yeah. And you know, you never been a patient yourself?
I'm as a
Doctor do get sick, right?
Yes, and as a Permanente physician, we are also members of our organization. So many times, you know, we purchase our own health plan, and so we treat our patients and members the same, because you never know. It could be one of our colleagues who are coming in to see us.
Could be, right?
So there isn't a different
level. That's why
I
pick up the word integration. And you've been a patient, you feel kind of like your integrity is very important, right? And you feel like a person. You feel you're treated like a person, like a person. That's very, very important. I do think someday I'm old. I'm on my walking sticks, right? And I have weak hearings, people yelling around me, or I would prefer to get a bullet in my head rather than stand for that. So I know how important that is. You would understand the significance until you reach my age, though, right? This is very, very, very important. Go ahead and let my audience know more about it,
and
please.
what you mean about that is what we call continuity of care. So in Kaiser Permanente, we not only see you in my office, we also see you in the hospital. And in the event that as you're getting older, we have home health services that we can offer. We also have other services, palliative care and hospice care, if that ever comes into pass. And it's all completely integrated.
That's very important. But for my audiences, I would say to get involved. For example, it might happen right away. Because, you know, I might receive calls right away, right? Say, how am I getting involved? So how?
Oh, so you can go to kaiserpermanente.org or kp.org to look for Kaiser Permanente information on Kaiser Permanente. At each of our medical centers, we have a member services department. So if you are able to walk into our services, you can go and look at member services department, and they can offer those services.
I mean, in some situations, for example, my audience have their healthcare already set up, right? At which they are not happy, right? Like in some cases that I exemplify to you about, right? So they're thinking about changing, shifting. Let's take a very short moment. When we come back, though, I would ask you to answer my question. How is he or is she supposed to do that thing of a formation or transformation, right? So, my dear audience, this show is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. Wolfers, a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory, the artistic jewelries. We will be right back, please.
Everything expected and straight. It's like the scenes on way.
My name is Paul James. I host English News and a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome back to the East West Show, a show talking about the right or wrong, talking about the truth, nothing but the truth. It is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. A prominent life must be matched by the palace-grade jewelries. Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelries with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the master craftsmen, a testimony to the spectacular share of the royal glory. Wolfers, the palace-grade artistic jewelry. That continues our show. With me is my friend, Dr. Jack Cho, at Kaiser Permanente for so many years, since 1994. He is the one to answer lots of questions that I have. The fact that I believe what I have, you might have, is that we're about the same age. We're all immigrants. We all need to know about the system. We do not. We might think that we know something already, but we do not know everything. For example, Kaiser Permanente, even though you see the big building pass by every time, you do not know what's happening inside. It is amazingly good. So back to Dr. Chou. How is everybody supposed to shift if they are not happy with their existing system?
And so in
healthcare, health, whatever.
Well, in the United States, health insurance is very complex. If you have an employer who offers you insurance, sometimes you may not be offered Kaiser Permanente. But you can ask your insurer or your employer and their HR department to look into Kaiser Permanente as an option. We mentioned earlier about Medicare, Medicare Advantage plans. You can sign up at an open enrollment period, and usually somewhere around November to December, you can select Kaiser Permanente. For many of our members who are
when you
covered
say
California,
you can select Kaiser Permanente, means that it might be the patient's choice.
yes. So so for Medicare, every year around November to December, you can select a different health plan.
I see.
And so, and to have it go into effect in January. And we already are past our open enrollment this year, but for Medicare recipients from around November to December, usually middle of December, sometimes it gets extended, and you can select different health plans. And Kaiser Permanente Senior Advantage Plan is one of those plans. For many of our members who are Cover California, you can actually go to Cover California and see if one of the plans, such as the bronze or silver plans that's offered by Kaiser Permanente is right for you. That is also subjected to open enrollment periods. For Cover California under the Obamacare program, you will have opportunities if your life changes, such as getting married or changing, having a new child, et cetera, et cetera. There are life events where you can enroll, or you have to wait till the open enrollment period to select Kaiser Permanente.
Good. In other words, what you're saying is that regardless of you are already covered by, either Medi-Cal, all right, or Covered California, every November or something, there might be a chance for you to reevaluate the service you're receiving. If you're not happy, you might deserve a change or try for something else, such as Kaiser Permanente. Am I right?
Yes, and once you enroll as a new member, our program is focused on culturally responsive care. And in San Gabriel Valley specifically, we have two large populations that we serve, the Latino population and the Chinese population. Specifically for the Chinese population, our new member program you can reach out to, we hook you up with a verbal translation service to go through our new member process in selecting a Mandarin or a Cantonese speaking doctor.
Oh, you're even offering the language service.
Yes,
the same language service.
Everywhere within Kaiser Permanente, and in San Gabriel Valley, we have staff that speak 17 different languages. We have 800 bilingual speaking staff that can help. Without that, and if you happen to go to a service and we happen to not speak your language, we have video interpreting services as well. So we can log in, and it's our responsibility to speak to you in the language that you prefer.
One more specific question. When I see my doctor, because I see always the same doctor all the time, we became friends. He knows exactly the good part of me, bad part of me, everything, right? We're on the first name basis. Hi, Jack. Hi, Joe. Some kind of like that, right? So if I start my thing with your Kaiser Permanente, do I see the same kind of doctors?
Right, so you have more options. We have a primary care physician, so I have a group of my patients, and they will see me primarily. If I'm not in the office, though, so for your case, if your doctors happen to be not in the office, you may sometimes have to wait. Well, we also offer our colleagues same services. We have urgent care services. We have 24/7 emergency services. But the integrating part is the most important because I know you as a patient, and yes, we are friends. But at the same time, I'm not here 24/7, but my system is. And this health record we call Health Connect, Kaiser Permanente Health Connect system, provides all the information that's necessary to provide your care the most efficient way possible.
Somebody in your group, your colleague, will take over someday when you're absent, right?
Absolutely.
Such as in my case, for example, every Wednesday afternoon, my doctor stay off, afternoon off, this is every off. It happens, for example, if that afternoon I have to see him, so I have to wait either, Thursday or Friday. So in Kaiser Permanente's case, in your case, your colleague will cover that.
Correct. And also we have electronic services too. You can send me email and my office will reply to you. And so there are many different ways of getting.
Most of the cases that I say is kind of a refill thing. I'm out with a refill. I need a refill, and if you refill, the pharmacy says, well, okay, doctor needs to sign, all right? I go to the doctor has the half day off, so I gotta wait. So what happens in your Kaiser Permanente? The same thing.
Yeah, we have three ways of doing it. One is through your smartphone. You can actually go and refill it right there. We send it to you by mail.
Oh, okay.
Number two is you can walk to our pharmacy services and they would look at it and they will send us messages for electronic approval within our system.
Do you give this guy the refill?
Absolutely. And third is if all else fails, our pharmacist, depends on the medication, may provide emergency refills.
Advance it to you.
Absolutely.
Oh.
And so it makes it very convenient in this under one roof system. Everything is included.
You know, sometimes the patient is like a baby, right? They wish, I mean, regardless how old you are, as long as you're a patient, you want somebody to take care of you, not only that, but to take the responsibility. Am I supposed to go ahead with the medication when the doctor is not around? Somebody says, yes, I'll do it. Okay, you go have it, I'll deal with your doctor. I feel better because somebody is carrying me, right?
And in part, we also, through our integrated system, we're able to notify you that if your medication needs to be refilled.
Okay, I get another question, which is very specific. When I come back, probably won't answer it. Right now, I'm going to wrap it up. The show is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. Wolfers, a Belgium royal family designated brand. A prominent life must be matched with the palace-grade jewelry. So Wolfers, a testimony to the spectacular, a share of the royal glory. We will be right back, please.
Everything we have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host this news every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audience. Welcome back to the show. Especially my folks, if you happen to be someone looking around for a healthcare system to cover yourself from, especially head to toe, though, I would recommend the Kaiser Permanente for whom or about whom we're talking exactly now. And Jack Cho, Mr. Dr. Jack Cho is with me. for this show, which is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. A prominent life must be matched with the palace-grade jewelries. Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelries with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of master craftsmen, a testimony to the spectacular share of the royal glory. Wolfers, the palace-grade artistic jewelries. Now continues with the show. Back to Dr. Chou. My little question. Normally, when I see my doctor on weekdays, right, I see 5 to 10 there waiting, right? So when I see you, what can I face?
Waiting people.
Yeah,
people
waiting.
Well, so we are a group practice, so you may see many people in their waiting rooms, but it may not be all to see me. We see an average of a good number of patients. We try not to keep our patients waiting. If we have to have you wait, our system will allow us to tell you ahead of time, sorry, Mr. Zhao, we're about 15 minutes late. Sometimes also we have innovative things where we have you walk around in our community area and you can go have a coffee and then we'll call you back. We also provide, there are innovation services to provide text messages to bring you back so that you're not sitting there in the waiting room chair waiting.
In other words, you will make people feel that they are attended.
We
right?
will try to care for you.
Yeah, we're taking care of you. Okay, I'm talking about in the group though, not doctors are seeing the same amount of patients every single day. There are doctors whom I see more. There are whom I see less. And you know, patients have this kind of, I don't know how they think, but psychologically they work. They go to the crowded doctors, right? They tend to go to crowded doctors. The more crowded, the better. Right? Ah, the doctor. Ah, wonderful. Right? However, they're greedy. Everybody wants to be seen first. So the crowded group with the less waiting is their silver lining. You know what I mean, right?
I understand.
As a doctor,
it's a culture thing.
Doctor, how do you explain that?
Well, we provide, like you said earlier, we select from the best of the best. And so
yes.
Within our group,
No doubt, yes.
You will have many options. It's not about crowding, it's about how do we provide the service that you deserve.
No, crowded one thing. So last time I was treated like a king, right? Of course next time I'll see you, right? If you treated me miserably, I would never see you again, like I was treated several times, right? It's a logic. So how do you handle that to go for the silver lining?
Well, we have a very busy practice, and many times, like I said, you may see a large waiting room full of people. But what we try to do is create a community area so that you can roam around. So it may not seem to be crowded, but our schedules are busy. And we have top-notch doctors, and if I'm not in, someone else will fill in for me. And that's, in part how we manage to avoid the crowds, but also treat you like a king.
But still, everybody sees his own doctor.
For your panel patients.
Yeah. For that, right? Unless this specific doctor is covered or filled in by somebody else.
Right. Or if you choose to see another doctor, obviously. So for our regular offices, in after hours and weekends, we have urgent care services where I sometimes take part. Now, I may see my own patients there walking in, or I can see other people.
I don't know how you define this. For example, I come to see you, you're my doctor, you're my family doctor, yet referring to a specific problem. For example, my food problem. You got to refer to a food specialist, right? So would this happen within the system?
Right, so within the system, we treat the patient at the right time with the right care. And so if I cannot handle it, we simply put in our order to refer you to see, for this case, a foot doctor. we provide foot doctor services, and I just put it in. It's pre-authorized. Sometimes even my nurse could make a direct appointment to help you get to that appointment right away.
Oh, I see, right away thing. For example, my wife, I give you an example. I just fake it, okay? My wife is okay. She is in perfect health. She has the pain here, for example, seeing a doctor, thinking probably something wrong with the stomach. It could be some women-related problems, right? I don't know how you do define a women-related problem, but to average Joe, though, this is a woman-related problem. So now the doctor says probably you see another doctor who is a women specialist, something like that. So this, you mean, will happen within the system?
Correct. So for many times as family doctors, we see women's health issues as well. On my examination, if I think that there is needed to be having more studies done, I can order an ultrasound or a CT scan right away. Sometimes if it's urgent, I can get it right on the same day and get the results back.
I see.
Now, if I need involvement from my gynecology colleagues, I can actually call them up, and sometimes they come in, if it's urgent, come into my office to see your wife.
No wonder people say size matters.
Size matters and convenience.
Size matters, yes.
And convenience matters.
The big system really matters, right? Yeah.
And it's all under one roof, because I work close to my gynecology colleagues, and they're on-call doctors. We have many women who are pregnant who are coming into urgent care and very worried about bleeding, right? Bleeding early pregnancy. We have an ultrasound machine. I call my obstetrician
that
downstairs.
That can happen right away.
And they do it right
because
there.
Because the woman is bleeding now, right? So,
so you don't have to wait and go to another lab, go be sent out to see another doctor. We just call the on-call person and they come down to see
Once again, it's all round up in a way like shopping, right? Okay. For example, I pay X, Y, Z amount of dollars for my care, right? So are you competitive rate-wise?
Well, that's the health plan's perspective. It depends on your rating. Obviously, Kaiser Permanente is high quality, but we try to offer affordable health care.
Yeah, for the same thing.
For the same
thing, same coverage, when rate counts, right? And not only the rate, though, the convenience under the rate. It also counts.
Absolutely.
My 3 hours waiting there for 10 minutes of transaction, well, that counts. That cost me still out of my pocket. Exactly. All right. My dear audience, to Dr. Chou, I apologize. There's only 60 minutes in an hour, though. I really wish it 120. We can only cover this much. However, there's a promise, right? There's a promise that you can always come back for another show, right? So I told Rena, I'm not doing this for money, because I believe that the community needs it, right? However, when there goes around with the money, though, don't skip me. Oh, she said, of course I will not skip you, something like that. That indicates, like doctor, you're saying, I'm not seeing you for money, but you still have to eat, right? You have a family. So the same thing. I believe that my audience understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about with the limited amount of money, though, we want to be the best. I want to get the best care that the money can buy. All right? Okay, now, that concludes the East-West show, exclusive sponsored by Wolfers. Wolfers, a testimony to the spectacular, a share of the royal glory. Wolfers, the palace-grade artistic jewelries. So, thank you for watching, my dear friends. Thank you to Dr. Cho.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack.